I think you're crazy.
A fucking yokai? In America? Poggers! And then the cop just shoots a fucking yokai and it does nothing. The bullet will just go into it and disappear. And then just fucking escapes in the fucking night. Well, that's one way to start a fucking episode. Let's see how fucking crazy it fucking gets. Because it gets fucking crazy from here. With that craziness out of our system here today, we are joined by our heroes as Constantine berates Z for not wanting to spend 3 hours practicing magic, which is pretty relatable. He then reveals that he fixed Queen Elizabeth's magician's Zoe trope, which is, well, this.
Her court magician used to use it on his seance guests to induce a hypnotic state.
Does it work?
He then uses it to put Z in a trance. While in her trance, Zoe is then given a vision of people learning how to use guns. This would become important a little later. After Zoe snaps out of her vision, Constantine then reveals this.
Seems we've opened a psychic connection between you and the map, which is what I wanted. So, Chaz, where are we headed?
New Orleans, Louisiana.
I'm not a scryer. I don't play blue magic. I play fucking green magic. But I get the house is alive. It's like, I get that. But is the fucking map alive too? Is that ever fucking explained? Constantine then activates his super secret detective coder ring, which reveals the obvious.
Our killer is non-human, or ex-human anyway. Green means it's in the vicinity.
What about red?
We wouldn't still be standing here if this thing was glowing red, love.
Only to get bitched at by a cop. That cop's name is Jim Corrigan. For anyone not pushed into a locker as a child, Jim Corrigan is a cop in the DC universe who works in the Gotham City Police Department. He then becomes the second fucking Spectre. The right-hand fucking god. Not sure if this is a one-time nod or a backdoor pilot, but a nice nod nonetheless.
Very good. I think I got a couple of junior detective badges back at the station.
Hopefully, however, he's not the Spectre, because if he is the Spectre, the right-hand of God's an asshole. Anyways, the gang is actually pretty confused by this, except for Z. She has a psychic attack where she reveals that he learned how to shoot a gun from his mom, which scares and confuses the cop. Jim reveals that the fucking yokai made him lose his job, and Constantine offers him an olive branch by giving him his card and saying to call him, which is a nice gesture because he doesn't have to do that, and the cop's kind of a dick. And then it cuts to a nice hotel where Z and Constantine flirt like it's their first date, when Constantine asks,
Where do you come from? Why are you running? And how bad was it that risking your life on the daily with me seems like a pleasant alternative?
The more this series ships these two, the more I see why. Their chemistry works. While I ship Constantine x King Shark, or Constantine x Zatanna, Constantine x Z is a pretty cute choice on screen. And then it cuts to a young man hitchhiking. I don't trust this. Don't do this. I don't trust this at all.
Colt. Maybe we could get you warmed up some.
I fucking knew it. I don't like this episode's pacing. We get a cool yokai adventure. Then we get fucking statutory rape. Then back to Constantine's cool adventure time, Waka Waka. It just feels a little weird. It makes sense in the end, I get it, but it's just really weirdly paced to me. Well, that's fucking depressing. Oh, anyways. So out on the date, the elevator opens up and it sends her to Narnia. Though, while in Narnia, Z almost dies. Constantine has to pull her back to reality and ask if she saw the yokai. While she informs her no, she does reveal that rapist did die, thankfully, putting the plot A and plot B together. Unfortunately, however, the episode cuts back to creepy McRapeface as we reveal the young boy isn't a human, and the rapist crashes into a tree and fucking dies. Good. The next morning, Corrigan arrests Constantine for pretending to be a psychic. After his arrest, his muscle, Kaz, the character which we don't go over often really, gets into a fucking knife fight with the fucking yokai.
You think I'm pretty?
Yeah, you're pretty.
How about now? Am I pretty now? Am I pretty now?
Yes, pretty.
Then why don't I make you pretty like me?
await your return, warrior.
Back in the jailhouse, Jim now believes that Constantine is actually a psychic and is wanting to help him. While being interrogated, because they still have to do that apparently, Constantine breaks out of his handcuffs like a fucking baller. Jim tells our favorite Brit the story of the yokai on the show, which is actually almost one-for-one similar to the folklore version. So the TLDR on the slutmouth woman goes as follows. The woman was caught cheating on her husband, who then cut her face to punish her, and she goes around Japan asking people if she's beautiful. If they say yes, she cuts them. She says no, she kills them. The model story is mostly similar, but with some differences there.
She was a model until she had her face slashed ear to ear by another model.
And I like that they went this route with it. Because in this version, the model was then killed herself because she was slit-mouthed. It makes sense because she, a little bit. The gang also discussed Philip, the boy who was a ghost earlier as well, and then trying to figure out what's causing this and why. The boys continue to discuss the case. We learned that their souls originally were resting in peace, but have now awoken, and no one knows why. However, it cuts to Constantine's homie resurrecting from the fucking dead.
Rise from your grave.
Holy fuck! No wonder why this show doesn't have him on screen often. He's powerful as fuck! After the brief conversation, Constantine then goes ahead and talks to the rival model, who tells him that she feels guilty about the killing. It then cuts to Z, who is talking to the hitchhiker's grandma. She reveals that she feels guilty for kicking him out. Fellas, we have a theme. But we still have to ask a question. Who's causing the dead to come to life? Is it Papa Shango? Well, no, close. It's Papa Midnight. Yes, Papa Midnight is back, and he's using his magic to fake talking to the dead. And I can't wait for those 3 a.m. challenge videos, guys. Papa Midnight's ritual is actually pretty cool and impressive. A lot of choreographed dancing, and Papa Midnight then goes ahead and cons a poor woman out of her money, and, well... You see, Papa Midnight isn't doing anything really wrong here. Yes, technically he's scamming people by doing his black magic, but he's giving them a chance to say goodbye. Is he really wrong? I mean, he's conning people out of the money, but so does our heroes. Is he really wrong to do this? We'll talk about it later. Papa Midnight goes ahead and uses his magic to channel a dead woman's husband. See guys, nothing wrong. Constantine crashes the party. He does this to reveal to Papa Midnight that spirits that he's channeling are going crazy and killing people.
You think you're talking to the dead? You're raising them. Flesh and bones, sending them on a killing spree.
What's he talking about, Papa?
Nothing wrong? Papa Midnight then pulls a fucking Great Muda and green mists Constantine, knocking him out.
Oh my goodness! He spit right in his eyes! The green mist! He's blinded!
It then cuts to Z, who's hitchhiking until she comes across Officer Corrigan. This is where we learn that he's been abandoned from the stabbing incident, and he has nothing really better to do. He and Z then decide they should pick up the hitchhiker, for some reason. It then cuts back to Papa Midnight, who's talking to the spirit of somebody. The spirit reveals to him that the spirits he was channeling have come back to life and are killing people.
Oh my God!
Oh no! Who could have told him that? Not Constantine. After learning this information, Papa Midnight visits the woman from last night to reveal that spirits didn't come back to kill people and is draining her life away. Papa Midnight returns to his car and decides that he wants to talk to Constantine. He and Constantine then bicker like children when they've discovered that, well...
It's the rising darkness. I'm surprised it's taken you this long to notice. It's causing havoc everywhere.
Papa Midnight and Constantine then make an arrangement. If they can go ahead and solve this together, Constantine can go ahead and use his connections to the underworld to learn more about the Agents of Darkness. If Midnight wins, they go out for Wendy's. It then cuts to Corrigan and Z. They have a bit of a character moment together when they reveal that he knows that Z is a real name, and the tension they're going for, it's pretty great. Then they find a hitchhiker. I wonder, what happens if you take the ghost to the city? Will he rest easy, or will it, slip Mouth Girl and continue to haunt the streets? It's food for thought here, really, because Z asks him some reasonable questions for the ghost to freak out.
Is that why you left, Philip?
Papa Midnight and Constantine bicker about the ethics of magic and what's right and wrong as they break into a mausoleum. There's an interesting moment here together when Z and Constantine discuss the theme here, the theme being guilt. But Z wants to go ahead and find the boy, which leads the boys to do the most simple thing possible. Perform a voodoo ritual and set the bodies on fire. So far, as you can tell, the common theme has been guilt. It will discuss that a bit more near the end, but I'm really digging this so far. Z then guilt trips the ghost and makes it feel uncomfortable as it decides to fucking leave.
I met your grandmother. I know she wanted you to be something you weren't. When she kicked you out, she did it because she loved you.
The spell fails as the boys continue to argue about what's going wrong, both blaming each other for it. Here's an artist's rendition of what's going on here.
Bodies are barely bloody sins.
It's your fault. Salting and burning the bodies does no good without the cooperation of the Loa.
The boys continue to argue as Constantine opens a bad wound and brings up how Papa Midnight killed his sister. Which, rightfully so, Papa Midnight gets mad and punches him in the face for this. However, this sudden head trauma gives him an idea. And Constantine realizes what he's doing wrong and realizes what the common theme is here. It's guilt. As I've spoiled for you already, it's guilt. It then cuts to our hero, Kaz, confusing the slut-mouthed woman. In a pretty funny manner, actually. Here, watch some of it.
Do you think I'm pretty?
What do you mean?
I wondered, do you think you're pretty?
Do you think I'm pretty?
Do you think it's gonna rain?
Do you think I'm pretty?
Can you believe it's taken me this long to start asking you questions?
See? It's great. Constantine then has all of Papa Midnight's people there together as he reveals to the crowd what they're going to be doing next. It's fucking heartbreaking because he has to reveal to them what's going on and why the ghosts were even brought back, you know? It's fucking heartbreaking, honestly. After setting the bodies on fire again, the spirits disappear back to the afterlife. We get a bit of closure as we bookend this episode, the way I feel like a lot of episodes could be bookended. We get some closure with Corrigan, as he reveals that he was the one who worked his Z's case before she ran away from home. Which actually might confirm that this was a back-end pilot, though there's no confirmation on that. We also get Constantine cashing in his deal with Papa Midnight, as he asks his dead sister about the rising darkness. As the episode ends, it reveals that someone is going to give John the Judas kiss. And I have a feeling I know who it's going to be. But we won't find out till later. Honestly, I really like this episode. I do. But it's very mid. And here's why. I'll go with the slice first, because I don't like the pacing of this episode. If you got rid of the boy, you wouldn't have anything for Z. That's a problem, though. If you get rid of the boy, you get rid of Z. So I felt like maybe you've got rid of, the woman whose husband died of cancer, it would probably feel a little better because you have more time to expand on certain things. The ending there, is Jim the fucking Spectre or is he not? That's super fucking weird to have him glow like he's the Spectre, but he's not the Spectre, is he? I don't think he is. That's really just issues the pacing, really. A better pacing, it probably would be in my top 10, honestly. Let's go over what I liked. I liked the themes of guilt. I like how our mistakes in universe and in stories even, they become our phantoms. They feed on our depression, our guilt, our anxiety, and we just become a fuck up because of it, you know? It feeds on us. It kills us. And this show understood that enough to make that theme. How even if they can poison our mental... I liked this show's themes. The theme of guilt and anxiety kind of hits a bit homer when I'm into it. I can already relate to Constantine on some degree, and I don't like that. But, like, having issues like themes of guilt and how the guilt itself can feed on you, it eats you away. How it becomes a phantom and it haunts your dreams, it haunts your mistakes, it haunts who you are. How that guilt builds and builds and builds and then kills you, you know? Maybe it doesn't kill you physically, but it kills your mental health. Well, maybe it doesn't kill you physically, but it kills your mental health. How it kills your well-being. How it just asking for anybody to help cope with it can help so much as well, you know? And what that person is willing to cash in on it is up to them. And I liked that a lot. Thanks for hanging out with me in the next gig. You have a wonderful rest of your day today and stay safe.